Heya Cryptozens. Tonight's show. CFTC chief says that Bitcoin could double in price. Druckenmiller says that recession is coming. And Circle expands. It's 10 p.m. Pacific. The date is September 29th, 2022. Welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. My name is Nikodemus, and I'll be your host. The cover model, mascot, and co-host for this podcast is Tex. And together, we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space and the industry that surrounds it. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. Caroline Pham is a commissioner with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. She has proposed the creation of a new office, the Office of the Retail Advocate, which is kind of a telling title for what she called a voice for the people. She was speaking at an event hosted by Corda, and she was talking about the CFTC's consumer protection mandate. And that's what this office is supposed to help with. She highlighted the need to accelerate enacting retail protections. She said, quote, "The crypto crash, risk management failures, and substantial retail losses gives urgency to the need to balance innovation with retail protection and appropriate regulation." So this proposed office would be set up like the Office of the Investor Advocate at the Securities Exchange Commission. Pham called it a tried and true way to advance consumer protection. So in looking at the Office of the Investor Advocate, there are four core functions. Pham describes them as ways an investor can have a say in policymaking, help retail investors who are having problems with other agencies, whether that's the SEC or self-regulatory organizations, also support advisory committees, and studying investor behavior and conducting research and economic analysis. Now, Pham spent time talking about the potential of digital assets and blockchain technology to move markets. She talked about, quote, 10 fundamentals for responsible digital asset markets. She said, quote, "It might still be early, but there are promising use cases if we can achieve blockchain stability and scalability across layer 1, 2, or whatever's next." Pham's efforts seem to be part of a larger push from the CFTC. It's no great secret that they're trying to establish greater authority over crypto in the United States. This position is supported by some U.S. lawmakers. There have been a few packages of legislation put forth to give the CFTC broader authority to regulate crypto. One of those packages has found something of a champion. That champion is another commissioner at the CFTC, Kristen Johnson. She was at a Market Risk Advisory Committee meeting, or MRAC, and she had things to say about the Digital Commodities Consumer Protection Act, or DCCPA. She gave remarks at her first committee meeting as the committee sponsor. And in her opening statements, she spent some time on a list of items on her agenda, but she spent most of her time talking about digital assets. Also, she talked about the Aoki DAO case and how that went. She also spent a good amount of time talking about the DCCPA, and that was the bipartisan bill put forward by Debbie Stabenow and John Boozman of the Senate Ag Committee. One of the things in the bill that she talked about was how it expands the definition of commodity as it applies to the Commodity Exchange Act. It expands the term to include digital commodities, and it requires digital commodity platforms to register with the CFTC. And there would be a self-regulatory organization, an SRO, the National Futures Association. This has to do with CFTC's reparations program. They're kind of a media negotiation program. They claim it is, quote, "a cost-effective way for customers to address their grievances with a registrant without having to hire a lawyer and engage in costly litigation or arbitration." Also speaking on Wednesday was CFTC Chair Rostin Benham. He was speaking at a fireside chat at the New York University School of Law, and he was talking about the benefits for the crypto industry if the CFTC led the industry's regulation. And he was talking about how that could have an effect on the price of Bitcoin. He said, quote, "Growth might occur if we have a well-regulated space. Bitcoin might double in price if there's a CFTC-regulated market." Like many in the crypto industry, Benham sees the need for regulatory clarity. That clarity, many people have argued, is missing. The years have been witness to a struggle between the CFTC and the SEC. They've fought over who's going to be top cop on the crypto beat for years now. Yet, despite wanting to own the space, neither agency has been good about putting forward formal guidance for crypto companies. Instead, they've chosen regulation by enforcement. And so it came to pass that Benham has argued for good, clear framework that could bring institutional investors to market. Quote, "These incumbent institutions in the crypto space see a massive opportunity for institutional inflows that will only occur if there's a regulatory structure around these markets. Non-bank crypto institutions thrive on regulation. They thrive on regulatory certainty. They thrive on a level playing field, and they may say otherwise. They might bicker about the type of regulation, but what they love most is regulation because they are the smartest, the fastest, and the most well-resourced. With those attributes, they can beat everyone else in the market." And on Thursday, he also spoke about the same DCCPA from Stabenow and Boozman. He said that he supports the bill, and part of it does come down to money. The bill includes a provision that would see the CFTC authorized to levy fees on the people they regulate. And he feels like that's needed if they're going to take on the crypto market. Quote, "We are currently appropriated money by Congress, and it has put us in a position where we feel like we're constantly on edge about how much money we will be appropriated. We are still feeling the wounds and scars from about 5 or 6 years of flat funding." So it seems like Benham sees this problem as twofold. First is the impact that adding yet another market to regulate would have on their budget. That would put a drain on their ability to deal with crypto crime. Also, there's a good chance that the demand for the CFTC is grossly underestimated. Quote, "We are only touching the tip of the iceberg. The 60 or so cases the CFTC has brought, we've had to solely rely on whistleblowers, on customer complaints, and on tips coming to us. We don't have the traditional surveillance tools, the market oversight tools, to monitor trading platforms, to oversee broker-dealers or similarly situated intermediaries. Those are the types of things we fall back a bit short on, and not because of a lack of effort, but because of a lack of jurisdiction." As we like to do on this show, let's take a look at the numbers. At the time of writing, the global crypto market cap is $943 billion. That's down 0.15%. The top 5 cryptos by market cap are Bitcoin down 0.4%, Ethereum down 0.7%, Tether, USDC, and Binance Coin up 0.23%. Chalk up another billionaire ready to see the potential of Bitcoin as a hedge against the central banks. And in this case, we're talking about Stanley Druckenmiller. And he said that he could see crypto as making a comeback when people begin to distrust the central bankers. He said he sees this as a growing probability as the global economy goes downhill fast and the Fed is busy fighting twin battles against inflation and recession. He was interviewed at the CNBC Delivering Alpha conference last Wednesday, and he started criticizing the Fed's, quote, radical monetary policy in 2021. He said, quote, "I was just incredibly frustrated with what to me looked like a Fed that was just taking unbelievable risks." Now, from his point of view, the Fed made things worse. He said they helped cause, quote, wildest raging asset bubble ever seen. And he said that the Fed ignored that asset bubble because it was not part of their mandate. His words. And while the Fed is making moves against inflation, Druckenmiller isn't sure that they're going to make it to the end of the year without a recession. He sees them just plowing ahead with their current inflation reduction mission without changing course. Quote, "Let's see what happens if we get a hard landing. You have to slay the dragon, and the chair is right. You are probably going to have some pain." That does match up with what Chair Powell said, that fixing inflation is going to, quote, require a sustained period of below-trend growth. In other words, pain. Right now, he's on the sidelines. He said that he is not investing in assets. That said, he sees a long-term future for crypto, especially if the central banks start to lose their will to fight inflation, much like the Bank of England recently has done. He said, quote, "I could see cryptocurrency having a big role in a renaissance because people just aren't going to trust the central banks." So despite the crypto market cap being down almost 70% this year, he sees a potential silver lining for crypto. See, his argument is that people will start buying crypto not because the Fed stays hawkish or because the Fed turns dovish. Instead, he sees people losing faith in the Fed itself. Now, right now, Bitcoin and crypto are not being used as a hedge against inflation. Not yet. But that could be because people still have faith in the central banks that the central banks will be able to fix the problem. If people lose that faith, why would they have faith in the currency? The global NFT market cap is down 6.7%. Sales volume is down 7.28%. According to CoinMarketCap, the top 5 NFT collections by sales volume are CryptoPunks, followed by Otherdeed, Bored Apes, Mutant Apes, and CloneX. Now keep in mind, some of these collections have very volatile prices, so do your own research. Circle Internet Financial is the issuer of the second largest stablecoin by market cap, USDC. They're looking to greatly expand its usefulness. It was at Converge 22 in San Francisco that they announced that USDC was going to be shoring up its market position by expanding onto multiple chains. They also issued a statement. And according to that statement, USDC will start circulating on the Arbitrum One, Near, Optimism, and Polkadot soon. By the end of this year, Cosmos sometime early next year. Now, USDC's been fighting to maintain its market position. Circulating supply is down, 55 billion in August compared to 49 billion now. I think that the issues with stablecoins lately have been motivation for DeFi platforms to create their own stablecoins. And then you've got Binance and WazirX basically erasing USDC from their exchange in favor of Binance's own stablecoin. So this expansion is part of their plan. Juho Reginato is Circle's VP of product. He said, quote, "Extending multi-chain support for USDC opens the door for institutions, exchanges, developers, and more to innovate and have easier access to a trusted and stable digital dollar." So with this expansion, that means that USDC will be available on 14 different blockchains. Tether is currently at 13 and is looking to expand to Polygon. And the bridge? That's always the scary part, right? In this case, transfers will work in a fairly standard mint and burn mechanism, bridging contracts. So that means when you send USDC from, say, Ethereum to Near, USDC is burned on the Ethereum chain and minted on the Near chain. Reginato emphasized that this expansion will give the market, quote, "greater liquidity and interoperability within the crypto economy." In addition to that bit of news, Circle also announced something called Cross-Chain Transfer Protocol. Now, this is a tool to facilitate transferring USDC across different blockchains. It will first be available on the Ethereum and Avalanche blockchains, then it will catch up to all the other chains. This all fits within Circle's broader strategy. In an interview with Cointelegraph, Reginato said that while right now most of the action is happening on Ethereum, he feels that the world is meant to be a, quote, multi-chain world. We already knew at the time that there were a lot of interesting things happening in other ecosystems, and we thought that over time, developers and application builders, they are not going to be so much concerned about layer 1 or layer 2 infrastructure that they're using. He said, what would be important would be interoperability, the flexibility to port their solutions across ecosystems. And he says that Circle is doing their due diligence when selecting what blockchains to add to their functionality. Quote, "There's a lot of risks that we have now that we perhaps didn't have 2 or 3 years ago. So we take it with a lot of diligence. We have a team of folks across all the functions in the company kind of assessing all these ecosystems and prioritizing them over time." Also in Circle news, students at 4 historically black colleges and universities could soon have access to free crypto education courtesy of Circle. This program would launch in October, and what it means is that the students would have the ability to choose Circle's courses. Subjects include Bitcoin, Web3, and blockchain technology. Students with excellent performance may get a jump on applying for Circle's internships or employment. Circle Impact is Circle's initiative to improve financial inclusion and economic prosperity. Earlier this year, they worked with Bowie State University and Rhodes University to offer a module on digital financial literacy as part of their spring 2022 semester. Marcina Perez is the vice president of Circle Impact. She said, quote, "Launching Circle U in partnership with these esteemed academic institutions is a step toward helping provide equitable access to education that can equip students with the necessary knowledge to become sophisticated actors and builders in this industry. Now, at present, we don't know which colleges will get access to the courses, but we do know that Circle said that they were planning on expanding to more academic institutions and partner organizations coming this spring." And I think that's where we're going to leave off tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. Take care of yourselves, but take care of each other too. We'll see you tomorrow night.